Good afternoon. Welcome to the GDI Consulting's webinar on the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Coast Guard, RMACC III opportunity. My name is Cal and I am your Artificial Intelligence host today. With me is Ab Vand, VP for Capture at GDI Consulting and a subject matter expert on these opportunities. Ab will guide you through today's deep dive into the RMACC program. Whether you're new to the RMACC opportunity or have been tracking it and are looking to improve your standing, this session is designed to give you actionable intelligence. Let me first introduce Ab. Ab has over 30 years of experience in capture and proposal management. He is considered an expert in self-scoring as well as traditional proposal and capture efforts. Ab has managed over 1,000 successful capture and proposal efforts and is a regular contributor to Washington Technology and other online GovCon magazines. He has also held numerous training webinars for various APMP chapters and APEX, previously PTAC, offices throughout the U.S. Before starting, there are a few housekeeping notes I would like to mention. First, this webinar is being recorded and the link to the recording will be sent to you within 24 hours. Second, we will hold a Q&A session at the end. You can send your questions during the webinar by the chat system to the right of your window and Ab will address them at the end. Third, you can download this presentation by clicking on the link under File on the right-hand side panel on your window. We highly recommend you download the slide deck so that you can always refer back to it. So let's see what this webinar covers. We will first have a quick glimpse on GDI Consulting's capabilities. Then, some background and performance metrics on the RMACC II program which is currently executing. After that, Ab will provide the general details of the RMACC III opportunity such as its scope, regions, contract value, duration, and important dates. Then he will have a deep dive into the proposal structure and the evaluation and source selection system. Finally, before going into the Q&A, Ab will provide some general recommendations and insights towards preparing a winning proposal. So, with that, I will now hand over the control to Ab to first give a short glimpse on GDI Consulting's capabilities. Ab, you can take over now.
Hello everyone, and thank you for participating in our RMACC III webinar. As Cal mentioned, we highly recommend that you download the presentation slide deck because there's a lot of material that I have to cover and I might be going a little bit too fast. So you can always refer back to the slide deck presentation if you have any questions. Of course, you can ask your questions at the end of the webinar as well in the Q&A session. So let's start very quickly going over GDI Consulting services, and then we'll dive into the RMACC II and then RMACC III opportunity. So GDI Consulting has been in business for over 15 years. Some of the metrics are written to the left. So we have a 98% win rate on Oasis Plus, one of the largest opportunities on the market. It was a self-scoring proposal type system. We had 97 awards for our clients. We have an overall 82% win rate, average 3 years on DHS opportunities. Over 650 satisfied customers, over 86 large clients, some of them in the top 10 list of defense contractors. And just to give you an idea, we had 289 wins. We helped our clients win on opportunities in 2024 with a $19.6 billion worth of contracts that we got. You can always come back to this slide and read more about our capabilities and metrics. Now, as far as the services we provide, we have 4 major services: proposal development, capture management, support services, and training. Now, in terms of proposal development, we help do the initial eligibility and score assessment. We also prepare full proposals for task orders or standalone opportunities, as well as large-scale GWACs and IDIQ and BPAs, including all self-scoring type proposals. Also, for those companies who have their own proposal shop in-house, we provide review services and staff augmentation. So if you're missing any key personnel in terms of the BD part of the business, we can provide staff, needed staff on a limited time basis, however you prefer. As far as capture management is concerned, we provide both long-term dedicated capture management as well as short-term, as we call it, sourcing and qualification. So long-term sometimes starts 2 years before the opportunity is out. Sourcing and qualification is usually 3 months to 6 months before the opportunity is out. We also have special services, capture for task orders under Oasis Plus, GSA Mass, Seaport, and other vehicles. We use a platform called Capture Edge, which is our own platform, and many of our customers are also using it. It provides a full plethora of capabilities, AI-based. It is very, very economical. It provides you both access to SAM plus Oasis Plus plus GSA Mass and other portals, so you can actually see what's out there. It gives you information about current ongoing contracts, competitors, pricing, and everything you would need in terms of both capture and actually proposal development. Now, in terms of support services, we provide accounting preparation support for the DCMA and DCA audits. So those companies who want to get audited, we help them prepare their accounting system and financial system. We also help in terms of getting CMMC certifications support. Price to win, competitive intel, and black hat exercises are also services we provide for our clients. And finally, we provide proposal development and capture management training. These are customized training based on the needs, the specific needs of our clients. So these are the services we provide in GDI Consulting. Now, in terms of the specific services we provide for the Coast Guard RMACC III, pre-consultation, pre-qualification assessment, full capture, full proposal development, in which we put a dedicated team to it. Actually, 2 teams. One team prepares the proposal, and one separate team actually reviews and does compliance checks. And then we have reviewing and auditing for those companies who have their own in-house teams. We provide 2 rounds of reviews plus review reports and debriefs. So these are the services GDI Consulting provides for RMACC III. Okay, so now let's start with RMACC II initially, as RMACC II is currently being executed and is a predecessor of RMACC III. It gives us an idea of how what should we expect from RMACC III. So the RMACC II scope included a broad range of construction services to support the U.S. Coast Guard infrastructure needs. This encompassed both design, bid, build, and design, build task orders, so both of them. The types of work ranged from vertical and horizontal construction to civil and utility systems, so it nearly covered everything. The contracts were used for building new infrastructure as well as repairing or even upgrading existing facilities, spanning diverse project sizes and technical complexities. So it's a very diverse, in terms of the task orders that have been issued so far. Now, the RMACC II divided the US into 4 distinct regions. And this has changed in RMACC III. We'll get to that. Each of these were aligned with specific Coast Guard districts. So this structure allowed the contractors to focus on regions where they had experience or operational presence, perhaps. Many contractors actually opted to pursue awards in multiple regions. So understanding this structure is crucial, as RMACC III will likely follow a similar regional approach although they have split it into more. And knowing the regional boundaries helps with teaming, with past performance alignment, and these are important issues, and proposal planning. So it's really important to understand it, and we'll go into the detail of that when we discuss RMACC III. And here there were region 1 was 1st and 5th Coast Guard districts. Region 2 is 7th and 8th Coast Guard districts. Region 3, 9th and 11th. And region 4 is 13th, 14th, and 17th. Now, I will show you a map where these different districts are located. Okay, so understanding the RMACC II timeline helps frame expectations for RMACC III. So the prior cycle began with an industry day in July 2018, followed by solicitation release in August 2018, and proposal submission in October 2018. Now, awards were made in January 2019, so that was a quick and short award process, which means 3 months. The contract structure included a 3-year base period with 2 additional 2-year options, potentially running through 2026, which is the case right now. So this historical timing suggests, I think, similar lead times for RMACC III proposal development and award scheduling. So let's now look at the spending. So here's the graph for RMACC II spending per year. You can see that during the past 5 years, not counting 2025, we see an approximate flat spending of around $150 million per year on these construction task orders. And the orange line is the number of actions reported, mostly task orders. So you can see that notwithstanding 2025 with all the changes which put a stop to many projects, we had a flat $150 million rate per year, and we should be expecting the same in RMACC III. Now, in terms of distribution of the spending per the socioeconomic standing of the task order awardees, you can see how it stands. So the first one, the small business, is not specific because it covers both total small business as well as any of the other socioeconomics. But you can see that small disadvantaged business has the highest share with $603 million. These numbers are in millions. That's the highest share. And then after it come SDVOSB and veteran-owned companies, so of approximately $400 million. So you can see the distribution anyways of the spending of the different types of socioeconomic standing. And finally, contractors. I've listed the top 20 contractors in terms of the total value of the task orders they have received. So Paracampbell JV LLP has the largest with $48 million, $48,739 million. So that's the hard. You can see it's only 5%. So even though it's the top, contractor, but it has received only 5% of the total value spent so far. All the way to the 20th is ONAPA Services LLC with $18,145,000. So these are the top 20. There are 85 contractors. I think around 75 of them have received task orders under this RMACC II. So it's widespread, as you can see, starting from number 10. Actually, number 9, you fall below 3%, so it's 2.83% for number 9, and it gets less and less. So it's a widespread. Most businesses have a chance of getting a task order. As you can see, it's not monopolized by 1 or 2 or even 10 companies, and that's a good thing about it for small business. So that's the situation of RMACC II. Let's now move into RMACC III, and let's dive into it. So let's start with the background and scope. So the RMACC III program represents the Coast Guard's third iteration of its DHS-wide multiple award construction contract. It's managed by the SILC Construction Contracting Office. RMACC III is designed to address a broad range of construction, maintenance, and repair requirements across the US and its territories. So this contract is not limited to the Coast Guard, but is available to all the DHS components, making it a key procurement vehicle for the entire DHS enterprise. So not only Coast Guard. It continues the legacy of RMACC II by streamlining the processes and ensuring fair opportunity for qualified contractors. Okay, now the intent of RMACC III is to ensure DHS has immediate access to construction support for both routine and urgent needs. So urgent needs is also required. Each region, and we'll go into the regions, corresponds to the US Coast Guard districts, and notably actually region 7.5 is specifically dedicated to Puerto Rico and the US Virgin Islands due to the unique market conditions. For those of you who've worked there, you know that, what I mean. Now, with an anticipated capacity of approximately $4 billion and about 10 awards expected per region, RMACC III is positioned as one of the most significant construction opportunities within DHS over the next several years. So it's really an important opportunity for DHS. Now, under RMACC III, awardees must be capable of delivering a wide array of construction services. These include general construction, repair, and maintenance, as well as specialized tasks such as marine construction, demolition, environmental remediation, and historic restoration. So, I mean, companies are expected to be able to do those. The facilities covered under this vehicle include Coast Guard and DHS operations buildings, hangars, boathouses, ranges, residential and commercial facilities, and more. Now, the contract incorporates multiple delivery methods to suit project requirements. The primary approaches include design, bid, build, and design, build. The Coast Guard will utilize the one-step turnkey method primarily for straightforward design-build projects. This is so that they can ensure minimal design costs and fast turnarounds. That's what they've said. Now, this flexibility allows the government to match the right delivery method to the specific project scope, while they maintain efficiency and compliance with federal construction standards. I'm reading off from what they've written. Okay, now for RMACC III contract, for the RMACC III contract, they have actually designated different regions for different socioeconomic set-asides. So regions 1, 7, 9, and 14 are set aside for 8A firms. Regions 5, 11, and 13, or 11, 13 actually, are SDVOSB set aside. And region 8 is set aside for HUBZones, and region 7.5, Puerto Rico and US Virgin Islands, is reserved for total small business. Region 17 is unique as it will include both HUBZone and edge set asides, with at least 2 awards reserved for each category. So these set asides highlight the government's commitment to small and disadvantaged business participation across all DHS construction projects. And just reading off, you can see that region 1 is northeast, region 5 is east, Region 7 is Southeast. 7.5, as we said, is Puerto Rico and US Virgin Islands. Region 8 is the Heartland, middle of US continental. Region 9, Great Lakes. Region 11-13 is Southwest and Northwest. Region 14 is Oceania. And region 17 is Arctic. So these are the different regions that they will have separate contracts. And as I said, they're for separate set-asides. So for example, if you go to region 1, which is 8A only, SDVOSB companies or total small businesses cannot submit. I mean, they won't be accepted. You shouldn't participate for region 1 if you're not an 8A company. So this is important to understand the set aside for each of the regions. Okay, and this is the distribution and the map. So you can see the Pacific area, the Southwest and Northwest, the Arctic, Oceania, then the Heartlands, the middle of the continental US, Great Lakes, gray area, then Northeast, formerly District 1, East, formerly District 5, and Southeast, formerly District 7. So these are the different areas separated and the region. Okay, now the RMACC III will offer an aggregate contract capacity of up to $4 billion across all regions. Now each task order will range between $2,000 in the minimum to $20 million. So they won't be larger than $20 million. The initial base year will last 1 year, so one year base year, followed by 2 option periods of 3 years each for a total performance period of 7 years. So 1 year base, and then 2 option periods of 3 years. That's 6 plus 1, 7. If important, each awarded contract will be guaranteed a minimum of $5,000 in task orders over the life of the contract. Now, this structure ensures that both small and large-scale projects can be executed efficiently within the vehicle. So, they might actually give task orders that are around $20 million or very small task orders. Okay. Let's now discuss the timelines and the key milestones for this RMACC procurement. So the RMACC III procurement follows a carefully structured timeline. The draft RFP was issued in July 2025 with industry feedback due by early August. Now, registration for the vendor outreach matchmaking event closed on September 8th, 2025, with the industry day held on September 10th. The final solicitation is expected to be released either in September 2025 or perhaps October 2025, hopefully September. And proposals will be submitted in phases. We'll get to that. One for each region. Remember that if you're going for multiple regions, you must provide multiple proposals. Now, the government anticipates awarding contract in May 2026 following evaluation and down select. Now, the previous time it took them 3 months. This time it might take them a little bit longer, but May 2026 is their target. Okay, so now let's discuss the proposal structure. So the RMACC III employs a 2-phase procurement process. In phase 1, contractors submit qualification documentation, including SF 1442, SAM registration, VETS 4212, and responses to 4 evaluation factors. I'll go into the details later. Only the most highly qualified offers, about 15 per region, will advance to phase 2. Now, in phase 2, these firms will receive a regional seed project RFP and submit detailed proposals on those seed projects, on that seed project. Maybe they will change it to seed projects, but currently it seems to be one seed project. So notably, phase 1 and phase 2 evaluations are considered approximately equal in weight when determining final awardees. So this is a phased process. So factor 1 evaluates your corporate experience through up to 5 projects performed within the last 6 years. So 6 years, remember that. These projects must align with the RMACC III scope, such as vertical or civil construction, utilities or waterfront facilities, etc. Each project must have a minimum value of $500K up to $15 million and demonstrate capabilities in delivering comparable work. Now, at least one of the projects must be a design-build method of delivery. That's important. Remember, one of the minimum 3 or best 5, one of the 5 contracts must be a design-build type work. And projects can come from the prime or team members, but their role must be clearly defined. So that was the projects that you need to provide. Now, your proposal must detail each project's scope, location, contract number, and whether it's self-performed or subcontracted. All of these must be mentioned. The government values experience in remote or constrained access environments. So highlight those logistical challenges and that sort of thing if they were, included. Now, be concise, but emphasize how each project reflects your qualifications to handle RMACC III task orders effectively. So you really have to write towards that when you're preparing those 5 corporate experience. So for factor 2, you'll submit past performance information for those contracts you provided in factor 1. You must submit CPARS reports if they're available, or get PPQs, past performance questionnaires, filled out by the corresponding contracting officers. Obviously, if it's a subcontract, you have to get those PPQs filled out by the primes. Make sure the CPARS records are accurate and up to date. But note that you cannot use projects other than those used under factor 1. Then the government will evaluate based on quality, timeliness, and customer satisfaction. Now, proactively manage past performance, meaning that ensure CPARS ratings reflect excellence in quality, safety, and scheduling. So select those that have that excellence. If CPARS isn't available, you must submit PPQs. So first of all, obviously, if you're using a subcontract, CPARS are not available for it, so you have to have a PPQ. Or sometimes you are prime, but for reasons such as security and that sort of thing, CPARS are not available for your contract. Again, you will need a PPQ. Now, in both cases, start early, as delays in getting the client's responses could hurt your score. So relevance to federal agencies, particularly the Coast Guard or DoD, will weigh more heavily in evaluations. So try to use those contracts that you performed for the Coast Guard, if available, or for the DoD. That's better than using other type of contracts, or DHS, of course. Okay. Now let's look at factor 3, which is the management approach. Your management approach must outline how your team is structured to support simultaneous construction efforts. Clearly identify the roles of your key personnel. That's important. Their experience and qualifications must match RMACC III's complexity. So, you can't use personnel, or you can use them, but you get less score if they don't have experience in performing complex construction projects. Highlight how your team coordinates across regions, for example, manages subcontracts. These are important issues for the Coast Guard, and oversees safety and quality assurance. So it's really important to highlight those things: safety and quality, as well as managing subcontractors. Also, beyond naming key people, explain your processes. The government wants to see a clear approach to managing cost, schedule, and quality control. So make sure that you write towards those. Especially for remote or logistically challenging areas, this is even more important. Show your experience with IDIQ contracts and your ability to scale rapidly when needed. These are the things they're looking for, particularly during disaster response or surge events. So cover those as much as you can. Now, factor 4 is safety. So safety is really important for the Coast Guard. Safety is evaluated as a standalone factor. That shows the importance. You'll need to submit a complete corporate safety plan showing compliance with EM 385 and OSHA standards. Include your last 3 years of EMR and OSHA log. The safety officer, your safety officer, must have appropriate certifications and experience in similar construction environments. The government is going to look for a well-documented culture of safety. So work on this. Even though factor 4 might be less important than factor 1, 2, 3, but it's really important for the Coast Guard, so they're going to really go through it. Now, in terms of submission, each offeror must submit a unique proposal for every region they wish to pursue. Just I'm repeating this. If you're going for multiple regions, you must provide multiple multiple submissions, multiple proposals. Because remember, it's when you're providing those 5 contracts in factor 1 or even in factor 2 for past performance, they better be in the region that you're going for. So if you're going for another region, multiple regions, then you should use different contracts if possible. The phase 1 proposal should be titled clearly to identify the specific region. So make sure that you specify which region you're going for on your proposal. Required components include DSF 1442 form, Section K reps and certs, current SAM registration, VETS 4212 report, and responses to factor 1 through 4 as we discussed. Now, all submissions must be sent via email to the designated CEU inbox by the deadlines. Now, they have listed the deadlines, reference page 103, the POCs are page 103, and the POCs are different for each region. So it's not the same POC for each region, meaning name, email, telephone, they're different. And also the submission dates are given on the RFP, but those are not finalized. So don't be confused by the dates that you see in the draft RFP for submission. This is a draft RFP. They're going to change those dates when they issue the final RFP. Wanted to make sure that you don't get confused, because when you go through it, I think it's page 104 or 105, you'll see submission dates, and some of them are already passed. These are, they're draft. They're going to change it when the full RFP drops. Okay, some important due dates for each region. So the Coast Guard will release phase proposal due dates by region. They're different for each region. This means that if you plan to pursue multiple regions, you must track and comply with each region's deadline. They're not all at the same time. It's critical to note that timeliness will be measured by when the proposal is received in the government's inbox, not the time it was sent. They've mentioned it specifically. So try to submit the day before, just to make sure that there are no discussions on this. So it's better to send a day at least before the deadline, so there are no mistakes made. Okay, so that was how you were supposed to prepare your proposal, those 4 factors and some, administrative documents. But here we're going to discuss the evaluation and source selection. So how the different factors weigh and how they're going to actually select different companies. So the evaluation framework for RMACC III emphasizes a balanced approach. All 4 phase 1 factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you remember. 1 was 5 experience, 2 was past performance, 3 was management, and 4 was safety. They roughly carry equal weights, but a little bit perhaps, and this financial capability is actually in phase 2. This is a safety. That's a mistake. So they're approximately equal in importance. Now in phase 2, they will send us a seed project, and then once they review the submission for the seed project, which is both the technical as well as price for the seed project, then the overall rating for phase 1 and 2 are approximately equal to price. So that's what they've said. Okay, so you can see that in phase 1 we have, this is the overall view. We have 4 factors: corporate experience, past performance, technical and management, and safety. Then in phase 2, for those who advance to phase 2 by invitation, we have 2 factors: technical solutions for the seed project and pricing for the seed project. So this is the factors that will be evaluated. But if you remember, as I mentioned, phase 1 and phase 2 are essentially equal at the end when they're evaluating different companies. Now, in phase 1 of RMACC III, proposals will be evaluated using 4, as we mentioned, clearly defined factors: corporate experience, past performance, management approach, and safety. Now, these factors are prioritized in order of importance, even though they've said that they're equal, but essentially, 1 is more important than 2, which is more important than 3, which is more important than 4. Each factor is scored individually and contributes to the overall assessment that determines your advance to phase 2. Your submission should be tailored to highlight strengths in all 4 areas. Don't try to, emphasize just 1. All 4 areas, especially those ranked higher in importance. So factor 1 is the most important. Those 5 contacts that you should actually present. So factor 1 focuses on your team's corporate experience. You may submit up to 5 construction projects valued at $500K or more and substantially completed within the past 6 years. At least one of the projects must be design build, as we discussed earlier. The projects should relate to the RMACC III scope, primarily shore-based infrastructure. Use these examples to demonstrate and show your capabilities, your technical complexity, and performance results. The government wants to see evidence that you've successfully delivered similar work, regardless of whether you were a prime, a joint venture partner, or a significant subcontractor. Now, past performance is evaluated, that's factor 2, based on the same project submitted under corporate experience. You'll need to submit past performance questionnaires, and the government will access the CPARs where applicable. The goal is to access your performance quality here, Okay, so they want to see the quality of the work, ability to meet deadlines, and client satisfaction. If there is insufficient data, you won't be penalized. A neutral confidence rating will be assigned. Still, strong past performance ratings can significantly strengthen your proposal. So you don't want to, fall into that neutral confidence sort of thing, because obviously there are more companies that do have strong past performance, and they will be picked better than you. So go for it and try to present those contracts that have very good CPARS rating. The management approach factor evaluates how your team will be organized and how you plan to execute the task orders under RMACC III. The government, I think, expects a clear explanation of responsibilities, communication channels, and how you coordinate with subcontractors. And we discussed some of this also in the proposal preparation. So a strong response will also show how you plan to manage multiple regional projects concurrently. They want to see that they can give you multiple task orders, not just one task order. How you can deal with risks and ensure quality control. So be sure to align your plan with the contract's geographical and operational structure. Important to do that. Now, the fourth factor, safety, is a major concern for the Coast Guard, especially in high-risk construction environments. That's why it's a standalone factor. It evaluates your safety plan and historical safety record. You'll need to obtain, as we discussed, OSHA documentation, EMR, and DART rates, and detail your training, oversight, and prevention strategies, perhaps. If your record shows consistent safety violations or a lack of oversight, your risk being excluded from consideration is high. So you really need to have good safety track record. A strong, proactive safety culture is a must to actually succeed under RMACC III. Okay, now in phase 2, they're going to be sent only to offerers, by invitation who passed phase 1. In this stage, the focus shifts to the specific seat project and its pricing and technical writing. So offerers will be required to submit pricing for specific task or for a specific task order or orders, maybe, we'll see in the final RFP, which the government will evaluate for reasonableness and realism. So you don't submit pricing in phase 1, but you do submit pricing for a seat project in phase 2. So they're not going to look just for the lowest price. It has to be realistic, reasonable. The government may also request final certifications and representations per whatever they come up with in their review. And ultimately, awards will be made based on a best value trade-off, considering the technical strength demonstrated in phase 1, along with pricing and technical submitted in phase 2 for the seat project. Okay, a few notes on how to win a seat on RMACC III. So to secure a spot on RMACC III, begin by selecting your strongest and most relevant project, specific to that region and to the RMACC III scope. Meaning those that best match the contract's scope and scale. CPARs and PPQs should be verified and ready to submit. If your firm lacks experience in certain areas, I suggest that you build a team with strong past performance to strengthen your proposal. This way you can, show yourself as a company or as a team that can do all different types of the RMACC III scope project. Review each region's set-aside structure. Make sure that you're participating in one that you have that set-aside. And obviously adjust your strategy accordingly. Success on our RMACC III, it hinges on compliance and clarity. So your proposal must address every evaluation factor directly, and it must be structured according to sections L and M. So it's very important to go through those and make sure that you comply. Now, highlight your team's roles, your approach to managing safety and quality, and how you'll work with subcontractors. These are all important issues. Double check submission deadlines and contact the appropriate POCs for each region to ensure nothing is missing. So these are some of the points I wanted to mention as far as your strategy should be. Just to reiterate what services we provide for RMACC III, as I mentioned, free consultation. So by all means, contact us. We'll jump on a call, answer any questions you might have. Pre-qualification assessment we can provide, full capture services, full proposal development with a dedicated proposal team, cradle to grave, we take full responsibility for your proposal, and then review and auditing for those of you who have your own internal teams and you want us to help you in terms of compliance and review checks. So these are the services, and I've put a slide here for our contact information. For technical issues, technical inquiries, contact me, Abvan. Email is preferred, but you can see my phone and email. And then for consulting and sales inquiries, to set up a call so that we can jump on a call, please contact my colleague, Moron Freedy. His email is listed here as well. Okay, so we have now come to the Q&A session, and I can see that there are quite a few questions, and I'll start answering these questions then. Okay, I'll go through a few of these as much as we have time. Okay, so question from Jacqueline. What does RMACC III stand for? So RMACC stands for Regional Multiple Award Construction Contract. And 3 means the third iteration, because this was contracted before. This is the third time they're putting out this contract. Question from Bob. I thought that RMACC is to do FBI construction, but you said Coast Guard. Okay, good question actually. The US Coast Guard under the Department of Homeland Security is issuing RMACC III. FBI has a different contract. That too is called RMACC because the RMACC is very general as name, Regional Multiple Award Construction Contract. Any agency that has regional construction work might call their contracts RMACC. So don't get these mixed up. Actually, the FBI RMACC will be coming out in a few months as well. But these are two different contracts. Question from Jane. Can you elaborate on the type of work that RMACC III covers? Okay, so from real property repairs to maintenance to general construction, marine construction, demolition, historical restoration, and remediation. All of these are covered. It also includes utilities, HVAC, and roofing. Also, if you want to know the type of facilities, for example, operations buildings, hangars, boathouses, fire ranges, residential and light commercial buildings, including mechanical and electrical systems in them, site utilities, waterfront facilities, electronic surveillance, security construction projects, dredging, and airports and runways. So all of these are covered under RMACC III. Another question. Okay, this seems to be same thing about the FBI. So question from Maria says, I heard that the estimated total value of RMACC III is $1 billion, but you said $4 billion. Actually, the $1 billion is for the FBI RMACC, but the Coast Guard RMACC III is $4 billion. So we have two RMACCs. One is called Coast Guard RMACC III, $4 billion, and it's coming out probably here in September. We have another one called the FBI RMACC, and that's expected in a few months. That's $1 billion contract. So that's a good one as well. You might want to go after that as well. And I will hold webinars on those as well, on that one as well. Okay, question from Jonathan. When applying for multiple regions, you said we submit separate proposals. Do you mean that, for example, for factor 1, we submit different projects but use the same write-up in factor 3 or 4? Okay, so what I mean is that you need to have two complete, and I mean complete sets of, for all factors of proposals. So each set of proposal must have its own factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, factor 4, any additional, certs and reps. So it's a complete proposal separate from the other one. And it's better, even for factor 3, if you customize it to that specific region that you're going to go for. So even for factor 3, which is management, if you can write it towards the particular region that you're going for, is much better than having a very generic one that you can use in all regions. Question from James. When did you say anticipated full RFP release date will be? The final RFP will be released in, they've said, late September, or perhaps, as usual, they might, lag behind a few days or weeks in October 2025. Question from Marcella. If we are a women-owned small business, we can't participate in any of the regions. You can only actually participate in region 7.5, which is Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands, because that area, 7.5, that region, is set aside for total small business. And a women-owned small business is also considered a total small business. But you cannot participate in any other regions if you're a WOSB company. The same stands for Native American or small disadvantage. So this RMACC III is essentially geared towards 8A, HUBZone, SDVOSB companies, essentially, except for the region 7.5. Question from Paula. Is past performance required in each region? No, if you're going for a particular region, then all you have to provide is past performance for that, towards that region. So contracts that you have performed there, not in other regions. Question from Michael. Are there bonding requirements? Yes, good question. I should have covered it in the actual webinar. So bonding is required per FAR standards, including performance and payment bonds. Now, the minimum bonding requirements are like this. If you are regions 1, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, and 17, the bonding value should be $5 million per task order and a $20 million aggregate. So you should have that bonding capability. $5 million per task order, $20 million aggregate. If you're going for region 7.5 or regions 14, that's Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands, and Oceania, then $5 million per task order, and the aggregate is half the other regions. $10 million is the aggregate. So good question, Michael. Yes, you do need bonding, and essentially it's $5 million per task order, $20 million aggregate. But for regions 7.5 and 14, the aggregate is half, so it's $10 million. Question from Abraham. Are there minimum qualification thresholds? So essentially it is factor one, which is, the hard one, experience part, meaning that offerers must have completed at least 3, better to be 5, relevant construction projects in that particular region within the past 6 years, with at least one of them being design build type of delivery, and the value must be at least 500K or more. Question from Mary. Is there a due date for the proposal? Usually it's 30 days after the RFP release, but note that the submission dates will be different for each region. So we need to prepare ahead of the time in case, for some regions, they don't give enough time to start from point zero, So you shouldn't wait until the full RFP drops and start preparing everything. Question from Stephanie. When you say 6 years for projects in factor 1, does that mean that the completion date must be within the past 6 years? Actually, they don't have to be fully complete, meaning 100%. As long as you've reached the 65% completion, which is called essential completion. So if you've gone past the 65% completion within the past 6 years, that project qualifies. So for example, if you have an ongoing project that is past the 65% completion, you can actually use that. That's acceptable. So when we say completion, it means it's past the 65%. Okay, question from Stephen. Is security clearance required? Not initially, but selected contractors, depending on the task orders, also must comply with the Department of Homeland Security background checks for site access and things like that. So it depends on the task orders. Question from Kumar. Are subcontractor qualifications evaluated? So subcontractors' experience and past performance may support the prime's proposal, but cannot replace the prime's minimum qualifications. So those minimum qualifications must be in place. But obviously, you should actually, when you're explaining your teaming, you should provide capabilities of your subcontractor, especially if you're using their experience and past performance. So let's see. Next question. There are some sales questions. So yes, anybody who have questions with regards to our support for preparing your proposal, please contact Maroon Freedy. I provided his email and phone number. Please contact him for sales inquiries, or if you want a call with us, you can jump on a call, answer any questions you might have. Let's see other questions. Question from Jack. How is phase 2 evaluated? So it's on price reasonableness and realism with trade-off decisions based on best overall value. Now, actually, there are two views on how they're going to actually provide phase 2 and how they're going to assess it. Now, one view is that in phase 2, you're given a seed project and you just provide pricing for it. That's it. The other view is that you also need to provide technical and management narrative in phase 2 for that particular seed project. We'll have to see when the full RFP drops, whether phase 2 means just pricing or for that seed project, or we actually need to provide more information about how we're going to perform that project, perhaps a schedule or things like that. We'll have to see on that. Question from Martin. Can teaming partners be used to meet experience requirements? Yes. That's the good thing about this. So the RFP says that offerers can use experience from, quote, the offerer, a joint venture member, first tier subcontractor, or affiliate, unquote. So you can see first tier subcontractor. So you can use actually experience from first tier subcontractors, or if you're in a joint ventures, obviously any joint venture member. Question from Barb. What's the benefit of participating in multiple regions? Well, obviously, increased chances of award, and maybe you get awarded in one and don't get awarded in the other. But more important than that, access to a broader pool of task orders. Maybe you get awarded in both. So you will have more task orders to compete on. That's the good thing about it. Question from Alan. You said that approximately 10 awards are made per region. That is at the end of phase 2. How many are selected at the end of phase 1? They've said that they will select approximately 15 companies per region and invite them to phase 2. And then out of those 15 companies, they will select around 10. These are approximate numbers of it. Okay. Let me answer one more question. We're way out of time. So question from Joe. Should I prepare a separate project team for each region? Good question. Essentially, yes, it is advantageous to tailor management and technical teams per the region's geographical and mission specific needs, obviously. But note that a new teaming arrangement, if you have to create a new teaming arrangement now, compared to a teaming arrangement that have worked together before, they will get less attention. So a new teaming arrangement is not a plus sign. It's a plus if you compare it with not having a team at all, but it's not a plus compared with an arrangement that you had with a team that the members have worked together before, and you can actually show those contracts that you have worked with. So you have to weigh these factors and then decide if you're going for multiple regions, how you're going to create your teaming partner. Okay, we are past the time, and there are still some questions remaining. My apologies for not having enough time to answer all of them, but I will respond by email to all of your questions that I have not answered. Thank you again for participating, and as I said, please contact us if you have any questions. We can consult you. It's a free consultation. Just get in contact with us, and we'll jump on a call, discuss, and also if you have any questions on our services, we'll be happy to support you on this project. But I do want to emphasize that RMACC III is coming out very soon, so start preparing immediately so that you don't lose time. Thank you again, everyone, for participating in our webinar. Have a wonderful day.